Well, good morning. It is Saturday morning, and I am going to be making a warm, comforting meal because it's damp, drizzly, and yuck outside. And as I was getting ready to make this, I thought, how about if we do soup Saturdays, and I share with you some of my soup, stews, recipes throughout the winter. Let me know what you think of that. Welcome to Real Life on the Homestead in Ontario. And I'm Marie, and I'm all about sharing. So as I started to get ready to make some chicken and dumplings, I thought, gotta share with you because it's all about sharing information. Please let me know if you would like me to share recipes. Let's say Saturday mornings. I can't promise that I will always upload it on a Saturday because we are in the country and sometimes upload times take a long time, not gonna lie. But if you would like me to share these recipes on the weekend so that you can follow along, perhaps make it for your family on the weekend. If you're working and you prepare meals on the weekend, as I used to with my family while I was working full time, it's a great little addition, and then you don't have to think about what you want to make because it kind of will help you out there. Anyway, I am going to be using my Instant Pot for this. I'm putting it on saute mode. I've got a couple of tablespoons of butter in there, not measuring. This is going to be a dump and go based on what I got. So I'm putting in a full onion. And the nice thing about using the Instant Pot, it will build flavors really nicely. So I've got an onion in there. I was looking in the freezer and I've got some celery that is starting to get some ice on it. Got to use it before it's no good. I'm not wasting. So the best thing to do is in these kind of meals, while it's still frozen, I cut through them and they cut pretty good. Here's an example for you. That's cutting it frozen. No problem there. So I'm going to throw a good handful of these in. How much? Don't ever hold me to numbers, but I think I'm going to do about 2 cups of celery. And I will also chop some carrots in here. Now what I'm going to use, and for this recipe, it usually calls for a whole chicken. I harvest extra roosters at about 16 weeks. Before they get tough, they're still nice roosters. They've developed nice flavor, but they're not old and tough. So I've got one here, 16 weeks old, harvested it, ready to go. I will throw that in. I'm going to throw it in frozen. This is the beauty of the Instant Pot, is you're throwing things in frozen and it still works just fine. I'm going to get some carrots to put in there, but while it's still here, and I'll show you, I'm going to use my garlic pucks. These are minced garlic that I do in the food processor, and what I do is I put them into those silicone trays that I've mentioned before. I'll link it again in case you've missed it, but it's about 2 to 3 cloves of garlic that you end up with in a little puck. Makes it really easy. But I did pull out a couple of frozen garlics that I had there. Like I said, I don't want anything to go to waste, and I'm going through the freezer very meticulously right now, because if there's anything that is, let's say meat-wise, almost a year old, I'm going to transform it into either something canned or a ready-to-eat canned meal. I'll make it and then can it, and then it'll be shelf stable. They say for a year, but I've heard of people having canned meats and stews for like 5 years. But at least we have something that if we're busy one day and we don't have time to make supper or make a decent supper, instead of grabbing some kind of garbage, what we'll do is we'll just open a jar of, stew, chili, spaghetti sauce, whatever, and we'll heat it up and make that. I'm going to do some more carrots because if you're doing chicken and dumplings, carrots, oh my goodness, celery. If you're doing chicken and dumplings, celery and carrots chunks are really nice to have in there. So I am actually gonna go for it. I'm gonna use all of them. Shit, why not? Get that out of the freezer, and that's one less bag I have to think about. Now, these bags, because I had vegetables in them, I have no problem rinsing it out, drying it, and using it again. If it was meat, it would be a different game. But when it's vegetables, why waste? Like, honestly, I'm all about repurposing and not wasting things stupidly. And I don't know if you can see it from the distance, because of course I got my upside down pots that are drying. This is a great way to dry your bags. Just put them on your kitchen faucet and it drips right into the sink and it starts to dry. Yeah, I do these kind of crazy things. I know. People walk into my kitchen and they think it's a disaster, but really it's an organized mess because I've got so many things on the go all the time. I always keep saying I got to organize my kitchen, but then I start something else. I'm bad for that. I always have something on the go. Oh, awesome. So all that celery is going to get used beautifully. I can't give you exact amounts for this recipe because, like I said, it's one of those things that you do with what you got. And I'm using carrots, I'm using celery, garlic, carrots, celery, garlic, onion, sauteed in butter. I'm going to let the flavors develop a bit. And then I'll put in my frozen rooster and some of my own chicken stock and some seasonings. But I'm gonna let this saute because with the vegetables being frozen, it's just gonna take a little while longer to saute, and I'll come back with the seasonings for you. Well, I've had everything sauteing for a while. I'm just gonna show you that. Carrots, celery, onions in butter. It smells really good. I am going to now add my garlic. I kind of wanted to let it cook down the carrots and celery a little bit. Throwing in that garlic. Now, the recipe does call for poultry seasoning. Poultry seasoning is something I've never used because really I have all the herbs in my garden and I prefer to use my own. Now, if I'm correct, and correct me if I'm wrong, poultry seasoning is sage, thyme, marjoram, rosemary. I think that might be it. But I have a lot of these in my own garden. So I've gone out and I've picked I'm only going to use one leaf of sage because I find it's a really strong flavor. Grabbed some thyme, grabbed some rosemary and some marjoram. And then I'll throw in, of course, salt and pepper. I have my own bay leaves that, like I shown in other videos, I have a laurel tree that I keep in the house in the winter, outside in the summer. And it seems like every spring it dries up and the leaves all fall off. I keep them. That's my dried bay leaf, and I use the fresh ones right off the tree. So I'm actually gonna grab these herbs, I just take them off the stalk, and I'm gonna cut them in there so they're really, really fine. I know some people do those little herb bags to put into their soups and stocks. I don't. I just go with what I got. And I'm gonna chop up this sage. I'm gonna try to do it pretty fine because, like I said, it's a very strong flavor, sage. But you kind of need it for, you know, stuffing, chicken soups, or this is like chicken dumpling. I think it really does make a nice change to it. I love it in chicken pot pie. It's a must. Oh, the flavor, the smells are getting really beautiful. My bay leaves, I'm gonna count those because I like to take them out after. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm doing 5 on the smaller side. Put those in. Smells good. It smells really good. Pepper, salt and pepper is always to your taste. I like a lot of peppers, so I put in a good teaspoon and then wipe my hand off because I don't want to get into my salt container. I'm gonna do teaspoon and a half of salt because it is a full chicken. Remember, my pinches are half a teaspoon. We have measured that in other videos. And it's starting to smell so friggin' good. I cannot tell you. Recipes do call for a half cup of sherry. I don't cook with sherry, but we make our own wine. So I am going to use white wine, and I'm using a full cup because you can never go wrong when adding wine to cooking. I like it. If you have children and you're worried about this, the alcohol evaporates. So it's a non-issue, and especially since I'm adding it in now while we're sauteing, it will evaporate pretty quick. And I'm using my own chicken stock. This one's a lighter one because it was just chicken, so it's like bone broth. Did you hear that pop? That means it was a great seal. This is a liter, so it's 4 cups. I will see where we're at when I add the chicken in, and if I need to top it up, I'll top it up with some water. More dishes. Never ending. Okay, and I'm gonna break into my rooster. These are those shrink wrap bags that I have shown when I packed up my rabbits. I use them for my rabbits as well as my chickens. Great product. I get it from, I think it's called Berry Hills in Ontario. It's online. They're a great company to deal with. They're very supportive and easy to work with. So I have, and look, there's a couple of feathers I didn't pluck. We can take those off right now. Just on the wingtips, nothing major. I always check it over when I'm ready to put it in the pot, just to make sure that there is no big feather that I missed. Because remember, when I'm harvesting, I'm doing quite a few at a time, and you get to a point where you're just tired and you're just gonna do whatever. Now inside this rooster, I have the neck and the feet. I put them in the cavity because I find when I'm making soups or stocks, that gives so much flavor. So we're gonna frozen, right in, frozen. Look at this, it's beautiful. Just put that sucker in. And you know what? I'm gonna just add, there it is. I'm gonna put in, I'd say 2 cups of water. So that's half my jar. So we have 4 cups of stock, 2 cups of water, a cup of wine. Sounds good to me. And now I gotta hide this, otherwise Jamie will get into it. He loves our wine. I actually love it too, but I don't like white wine that much as a drinking wine. I like it more for cooking, and I like to try and keep those aside because I don't make as much white wine as we do red, and I want to definitely have it for the year for the purpose of cooking. So here we go. Everything looks good. Oh my God, just saw another feather. After saying I got it all, I just found one. Okay, he's out. So putting this in the pot. Normally you would cook this for 10 minutes if you had a fresh chicken. Because it is frozen, I'm gonna give it 30. And all it'll do is just build the flavors more. So I'm setting it to seal, changing it from saute to pressure. So cancel that out, pressure, and I'm going for 30 minutes. And I am not gonna stress if I'm not here when the timer goes off. And it'll naturally release. Later on, I'll take the rooster out, I'll shred the meat, and I will show you how to make the dumplings so that you see the step-by-step. Now, I'm just gonna leave this pot going while I do all the other stuff I have to get done around here. So I'll see you back here probably in a couple of hours after I get back to the kitchen. My goodness, can you smell how amazing this is? I am going to take this out and take the chicken off the bone, chop it up, and we will make the sauce for the dumplings. Okay, we have found all 5 of the bay leaves. Make sure to take those out. And I've taken the chicken and taken off all the bones. And now we will chop this up and add it back to the stock once we have our dumplings ready to go. Well, our stock is now done. It smells amazing in this kitchen. I'm going to show you how to make the perfect, easy dumplings. Anybody can do this. You're smart enough. It's easy. If you've never made dumplings before, this is a perfect recipe. For this, I will give you measurements because it's like baking. You want to have the ratios work for you. So I'm going to start off with 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. To that, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I've just measured it into a tablespoon here, but it's 2 teaspoons. And then 1 teaspoon of salt. Just gonna mix those dry ingredients together. And then you need 2 tablespoons of butter and 1/2 cup of milk. So the recipe says melted butter and warm milk. So what I did is I just combined the milk and the butter and warmed them together. Kind of makes sense to me. 1 dish. And then blend that together. Now, when you're doing dumplings, the same as when you're doing biscuits, do not over mix. When it comes together like this, leave it alone. Okay, so we're gonna take that and we're gonna put it out onto a floured surface. And we're gonna just bring them together. Right now it feels super fluffy, and that's how we wanna have them. I'm just pushing it so that they stick together, but not kneading, okay? Now with these, what you're gonna do is you're gonna roll them out, but no thicker than 1/8 of an inch. So you wanna keep the dumplings very thin. And the original recipe did say to do it 2 by 1 inch squares. I like them a little smaller than that. So let me just grab my rolling pin. Now go thinner, but do not go thicker than 1/8 of an inch, okay? You want them to be really light and airy. You don't want them to get gooey or clumpy in your soup. That looks good to me. I'm just gonna tear off a little piece to show you. See the thickness? Super thin. Best way to cut these? Pizza cutter. And you don't have to be exact. This isn't a science. This one I really mucked up. That's it. That is it. Now I'm just gonna pull them off the board so that they don't stick. And then I will place these in the pot. Beautiful thing about this again is with the Instant Pot, we will turn the stock on to saute, and throw these in for 10 minutes. After it's been cooking for 10 minutes, and I place the lid on there, but I don't seal it. I just place the lid on. Then after they're cooked, you throw your chicken back in. I'm just gonna show you. These are really beautiful and fluffy. I'm trying to put them so that they don't stick together, but I did want to get flour underneath them. This is so simple and such a comforting type of meal. There we go. Just gonna show you the chicken. So I have shredded and cut it up. So that was the full chicken. Deboned, skinned, cut up. So I am gonna put the stock on saute 15 minutes before we're ready to eat. And that's it. I will show you when our food is ready to cook. Well, I just realized today is Friday, not Saturday. So you will actually get to see this for your Soup Saturday. I have decided that instead of on the saute mode of the Instant Pot, I'm going to move the Instant Pot liner onto my stove because it'll be easier for me to show you how the soup is cooking. So I am going to actually be holding the phone while I do this, so it's not the best videographer skills, but it's gonna do exactly what I wanna do, is show you what I'm doing. Okay, so our soup is now simmering. Back up to that simmer. And I am going to add in a slurry of cold water and a tablespoon and a half of cornstarch. Now I use organic cornstarch, and I will link that again for you if you don't have it from the last time I used it. Okay, I am right-handed, so I have to move this over. There we go. And that is just going to help thicken it a bit. Now, this is when you add your dumplings. So I have brought them over on a plate. Aren't they beautiful? They're like little pillows. Now, pour those in, and I'm going to just give it a quick stir because you don't want them to clump together or stick to the bottom. So far, so easy, right? Now, this is going to cook for 10 minutes, and I'm just going to put the top on, and I'm going to just keep it on a low simmer, and that'll be for 10 minutes. Then we'll finish it off with the chicken and some cream. Our time is up, and those dumplings are cooked. So what we do at this point is we add the chicken back in. Mix them in. You're just warming your chicken slightly. And we are going to add, the recipe calls for half a cup of cream. I have a full cup because I'm actually going to see how it looks because I'm doing a big chicken here. And if I think that a half a cup is enough, I'll stop. Look how beautiful that is. Do a little bit more than half a cup, but I'm not using the full cup. And I'm just going to ladle up so you can see what this looks like. So we have beautiful chicken and dumplings, a little bit of pepper on top, and there you go. Easy chicken and dumplings. Go fill your tummy, live your best life. Keep liking, subscribe, share with your friends. And remember, if you like the idea of Soup Saturdays, make a comment below. And we'll see you next time.